Hey, listeners, you're listening to a brand new podcast episode by Herschel of It's All About People, where we learn and grow from people who are doing great in their career. In this podcast episode, we're going to learn from a financial freedom coach, and we welcome Samir sir to this podcast.
Hello everyone.
Yeah. So, Samir sir, financial freedom, it is a new word, and many people also want to achieve financial freedom. So, how are you helping those people to achieve the financial freedom?
Okay, so many times we have many misconceptions about financial freedom. We think it is very difficult to achieve, but let me tell you that it is very easy to achieve, and any person who is earning even little money can do it with a proper process. So, first thing is I am into the investment field since last 23 years, and I am helping people to invest for fulfilling their financial goals. That is what I do. And I am myself financially free, so I know how to make people financially free. And there is a process, it's not rocket science. So there is a process in which you need to, it's a three-step process, I will say. The step number one is you should focus on increasing the income, which I think every one of us has that effort, does that effort, and puts all our energy into increasing our income. That is not a problem. Step number two is you should keep your expenses low. Now, this is where most people falter. They are not able to manage their expenses. So to say that whenever their income increases, expenses also increase, which is not a good sign. So if you want to be financially free, step number two you have to follow is keep your expenses low. And the third step, which is the most important step, is once you have achieved keeping your expenses low, invest the gap between your income and expense with the help of a financial expert, such that that investment, the return on investment, beats the inflation by a decent margin. So this is how you have to approach the whole process. And then it will be more details into that. But at the outset, this is the process. And I think less than 5% of people in India approach a financial expert to do this job. They try to do it on their own. That is one more mistake that most of us made. I even started with the same way, but when I realized that it is not a good strategy and it is not going to make me financially free, I have taken the steps accordingly. So I would recommend everyone to visit a financial expert before they start anything of that sort.
Yes, sir. And when financial freedom term comes to people, the thing concept comes like in terms of luxury cars or big grand hotels, private jets. So, what does financial freedom look like, or what is it all about?
Okay, very nice question. I should appreciate, because many times we get into that domain, as you rightly said, of that if you are financially free, you should have a Ferrari or a Lamborghini, you should have a private jet. Actually, it is nothing of that sort. It has nothing to do with that. Is something which people are more flashy. They show off a lot. We are not talking of that kind of financial freedom. In simple terms, I will define financial freedom as if your passive income is more than your monthly expenses, you are financially free. Now, if you go by that definition, it is easier to become financially free if your expenses are low, not high. Now, if you own a Lamborghini, your expenses are not going to be low. It will be high. If you own a private jet, your expenses are going to be high. So those are the category of people which are ultra rich. But for a normal person like any one of us, if you want to be financially free, you should reach a stage where your passive income from whatever assets you have is more than your monthly expense. So somebody with a monthly expense of say 15,000 generates a passive income of 16,000 per month. His passive income has now exceeded his expenses and he is technically financially free or technically rich. So for that, you don't need to have a Lamborghini. You can live a good life without having flashy cars, big bungalows, and all that stuff. You can live on your own terms. Like for me, what is the purpose is I should be able to spend time with my family. I should be able to live my passion. So my passion is to travel. So I spend most of my time and money on traveling. So last year, in year 2022, it was my target to have 12 vacations. I try to take 12 vacations in a year, but I managed to do 9 in 2022. So that was my plan. This year, 3 of my vacations are planned, yet this year also I have a plan of doing 12. But eventually next year I will know how much I have done. But that is how why I want to be financially free, so that I can move around the world and have more time for my family. Same way, uh, that is what is financial freedom. Your monthly passive income is more than your monthly expense. That's it. It's not about showing off.
Yes, sir. So it came to a simple concept where we save our money and invest so that we can do whatever we want. Like how you told you what
Exactly.
you like to travel in that way.
Exactly.
And for that as well, people right now, they go to jobs, they try to get a good salary. But the thing is, as their salary increases, even their taxes also will increase. So
Right.
what is the strategy for those employees, how they can reduce their taxes such that they can do whatever they like?
Okay. Honestly speaking, in the employee domain, there is very little that you can do about the taxes, because tax is one such thing which is not in your control. It is controlled by the government. If the government increases the taxes, you have to pay it. Yes, of course, the government has given us certain deductions in the taxes. Like they have given the Section 80C, in which you can invest 1.5 lakh rupees and save some tax. Then there is a Section 80D used for the health insurance part, where you can save for, say, 25,000 for self. And if you do it for your parents, then 50,000, and all those limits are there. But the real game is not in the domain of taxes. The real game is whatever money is left after the taxes, you have to use it very, very judiciously and follow this 3-step formula that I told you. Even I started as an employee. I was working in a steel factory where my whole activity began. I was not earning a lot. In way back in 2003, it was when I realized, when I woke up, I would say, financially. And that is the time I realized that I need to look at my finances very, very seriously. And I got a target of 30,000 rupees per month to be invested. So if I did that 30,000, I would fulfill all my financial goals. That is the thing I got in 2003. I had no money. I was earning around 22,000 rupees a month during that time. And since I was very smart, I used to spend every single penny by end of the month. No money left. But at least I knew that I needed 30,000 rupees. And from 2005, I started investing. And I just started with a simple thing like a mutual fund SIP. I started with 3,000 rupees a month. And I kept increasing that investment as my in my job, as my salary went up. I used to put every increment. That is what I told earlier, that if the salary goes up, there is no need for the expense to go up. So every increment I invested, such that in 2012, I was investing 33,000 rupees a month. So in a span of 7 years, I increased my investments by 11 times, from 3,000 to 33,000. So this is the way I managed. Most people don't know that even in 2012, I was having the expenses which were close to the expenses in 2005. So because I gave priority to investing, most people don't give priority to investing. All of us know that investing is important, but it is not our priority number one. It is philosophical knowledge. It is of no use. There is no action. So first thing is invest like your life depends on it. So that is how I did. And eventually in 2016, I became financially free, such that I don't have to work ever again. In 2016, my monthly expenses, my monthly passive income was 1.5 times my monthly expense. Still, I work even today, but now I don't work for money. Now I work in the business of cloning, I would say, to create more people like me who are financially free. That is my business now. So it is very easy. There is a process. And in fact, just to extend your question slightly, I would like to tell all the people here that most of the people who are employees who do job, they think that if you want to be rich, you have to do some business. In fact, it is much, much easier to become rich on a job, on a regular salary, because it is predictable. In business, many times I have seen many of my friends leave their job for business and eventually fail, because the success ratio in business is very, very low. If 100 people started business, only 5 of them survive by end of 1 year, and only 1 of them survives by the end of 5 years. And that is only survive, they don't flourish. So if you are in a job and you want to be rich, don't leave your job blindly. It will not help you. In fact, you have a regular income, use that income, use this formula, 3-step formula, keep working well, increase your income, keep your expenses low, and invest the gap. Do it for 10 years, and I can guarantee each one of us can be rich.
Yes, sir. So I was also coming with the same question as well. That is, like, when we are employees, should we leave our job and start our business? So you have clarified it very well. That if you see most of the people, they think they see some people on internet or social media that they are having a business and they're financially free. And even I also want to be the same thing. But they do not know their background and did not know what is happening in their life, how they started, what was their journey, like how we've explained key in the early 2000s how we were struggling, and right now how we have become financially free. So that is the important thing that we need to see before judging other people as well when it comes to money or finances. And coming back to the expenses as well, many people, even I could include in that category as well, that even I am also not sure how to spend my expenses. Like friends call, let's go for a movie, or friends tell, let's go for a travel trip. So we feel that kind of like excitement that okay, let's go. Zindagi to ek baar hi milti hai na. So that kind of thing happens and we go out. So how to reduce those expenses? Are there any methods through which that we are able to reduce those expenses and invest in the investments?
Yes, very important question. And in fact, that is the most important step in your journey towards financial freedom, is to control your expenses. Now, I'll tell you, there are 2 categories of expenses that each one of us does. Category number 1 is expenses done on things that you need, roti, kapda, or makan. So that is the expense that you have to compulsorily do. You cannot do away with that. And the second expense is done on things that you want. So, for example, you need a phone of say 10 or 15,000 rupees. That is sufficient, because on that you can install all the apps, you can do Amazon and all that shopping, you can call your friends, everything is possible with a 10-15,000 rupee phone. But you may want an iPhone. Now, there is no end to wanting. So the idea of controlling expenses is every time you go out and spend your money, if you get that urge of spending the money, go out and check and ask yourself that this thing that I'm buying, is it something that I need or is it something that I want? If it is something that you need, then buy it. There is no stopping. But if it is something that you want, then postpone it. If I say don't buy it, you'll buy it. It's like all of us are like small kids. Tell a kid don't go there, you'll go there. So I will not tell you don't buy it. Just postpone it. Give it a cooling off period. Go home, think about it, and let some time pass. Let that wave of purchasing, of shopping subside. If that simple thing you did, most of your money will be saved. So that is the way you have to control the expenses.
Very well said, sir. And I'm sure even I will also try from my side to reduce those expenses. And
yeah, that is how the impulsive buying happens. You
yes,
see
sir.
some advertisement and you just buy it just because the other fellow is giving a discount. But that doesn't mean you need that item. Yeah. It's just something that you want.
That's And some people as well, you see in their friend circle that everyone has that thing, and you're only the odd one out who does not have maybe an iPhone, or it could be a gadget. So that is why that it's that urge that okay, let's also buy it, let's also see how, let's also try to become more fancy. So that's very well said regarding that. And there are some
Yeah,
myths
and
that.
one more thing I will tell you, there is a
Mhm.
very thin line of demarcation here. Uh, in one of the books by Robert Kiyosaki, Rich Dad Poor Dad, he writes that being rich is like going to Mount Everest. So it takes a hell lot of preparation. And it is for most people, it's a very difficult task. It is very simple, but it's not easy. So you need a lot of discipline, a lot of emotional control. Like just in this example, we saw you need a huge amount of emotional control to not to buy that phone, which you desperately want. So all that stuff is going to kill you emotionally if you are not able to control. Now, I have myself experienced that I have been maintaining my investing discipline for last 18 years. And I have met very few people in my life who are able to do that. So it's like going to Mount Everest for sure. Now, what happens is, some point of time, each one of us realizes this, that it's not easy. Becoming rich is not easy. So we find a in-between solution. Instead of becoming rich, we try to look rich. So we go out and buy some branded clothes. We go out and buy a nice phone. We go out and buy a branded spec, something Gucci or something, all branded things we buy, so that all the friends will say, "Arey, you have got a lot of money. You look rich." So most people are addicted to looking rich rather than being really rich. So that is the litmus test. You have to ask yourself, do I want to become rich, or do I want to look rich in the other people's eyes? Because the man on the street doesn't care whether you are rich or you are not rich, or you are pseudo rich, or you are looking rich. Who cares is you. So make sure that you become rich rather than looking rich and getting under the pressure of comparison of, he has the phone, I don't have the phone. He has the car, I don't have the car. So better not to compare.
Yes, sir. Ultimately, it comes
Yeah,
to comparison itself. That
exactly.
that's how we have told. And many people as well, when they're coming in terms of their investments, they have some money myths that okay, money does not grow on trees. It is hard to get money, or some other negative beliefs that they have about money. So how can we generate some positive beliefs that okay, money comes easily and continuously to me, or some other beliefs which can help us to get more money?
Yes, very important question. And I would say that the only way you can do that is by getting education. The education of the other kind, the financial education. All of us are educated. We were educated in school and college, but that is all scholastic education. In school and college, they taught us ABCD and 1, 2, 3, 4, and eventually the complications of all that stuff. But they never taught us about anything about money or how to manage money. So it is our responsibility to learn how to manage money. For that, you need to read a lot of things. Just to give you an example from my life, I'm a big fan of Robert Kiyosaki. I've read his book, Rich Dad Poor Dad, more than 350 times. There is another book called The Science of Getting Rich that I have read for more than 1700 times, and I read it every day almost. That keeps on reprogramming my brain. As you rightly said, we have all that beliefs for generations. I also came from a middle class family. Both of my parents were government servants, and they never taught me anything about money. And they also always faced a scarcity of money. But this education through books I took, and I literally formatted my hard disk here, up here in the brain, so that I installed a different kind of a money software in my brain over a period of time. And that is the reason why I could reach a stage where I could be financially free. So the only way to deal with your negative beliefs or misplaced beliefs, I will say, about money is to replace them with more positive, more empowering, and more forwarding beliefs, which these people are given. And eventually, I have also written my own book now, based on all this experience of last 23 years in this domain. I have seen more than 2000 financial lives very, very closely. And then I wrote a book where I believe that all of us are a sum total of all our habits put together. So I have titled my book as 25 Habits That Make You Rich. And my claim is that out of that 25, if you just develop 15 of the habits, you will become rich automatically. You don't have to do anything else. It's all about programming of the brain.
Yes, the programming of the brain is really important, not only in terms of money, also in terms of success as well, wherever that we want to grow in
Exactly.
life. Yes, sir. And if you see the recent news that we were seeing, or it could be the friends that we discussed like about, okay, I invested so and so rupees in stock market and I lost 20,000, 50,000, 1 lakh rupees, and recession came, again, I lost money. So how to plan ourselves so that even if bad times are going to come in the coming years, that we are prepared and we can do whatever we want.
Okay, so as you rightly said, there is a joke that goes around that how to make a million in the stock market. And then the answer they give is start with 2 million. You'll make a million. So really, stock market is another place where we Indians are attracted towards it. Although we have got one of the smallest markets in the world, but all of us want to get in there because somewhere in the corner of our mind, we believe that stock market is easy money. In real life, we think that I work for 8 hours, 10 hours, and then I make some money. Here, I don't have to work. I have to just put the money and zoom. Next day, it will be doubled. But unfortunately, that is not the reality. Very few people earn in the stock market. The reason is they don't learn about it. So I would say that normally, if you do a job, it's like driving a normal car, say a WagonR or a Maruti 800. You have a normal driving license and you drive that car. It goes with a certain speed, a typical average speed of say 40 or 50. That is how, and you are happily traveling. You are very safe. That is your normal life. Now, going into the stock market is like having a Formula One car. But most people try to drive a Formula One car, which for which the speed is like 180 or 200 kilometers per hour with a license of a normal car. Now, if you try to do it in reality, next day you will end up in the hospital or in the Shamshan Bhumi probably, because you are not able to drive that car because the speed is so much. For that speed, you need a different kind of training, which the Formula One drivers go through. Now, and then they get the result. They can reach a distance of 200 kilometers in an hour, which that's like driving from my place like Nasik to Pune in an hour. But normally I will take 5 hours to do that. So first thing is get trained. Stock market is complete statistical science. It is not luck. It is not jugaad. It is hardcore science. You have to invest your time. I am myself investing in stock market, but when I was doing my job as an employee, that time I used to study for every day 2 hours in the night, 11:30 to 1:30 for 8 years consecutively. That is where I gained my knowledge of stock market. So in any endeavor in life, always remember one rule. You get paid not because you have got brains, not because you have got IQ. You get paid only because of the amount of time you invested in that pursuit. There is no magic. There is no luck. It is hardcore investment of time. And most people falter because they don't want to invest the time. They just want to have the money. And there's no free lunch in the world. You have to invest time. Else, that joke holds true. How to make a million in the stock market? Start with 2 million.
Yes, sir. And you told learning is also one of the important thing to make money. And I also get a similar quote as well, that if you want to earn, first learn. Then you can remove the
Exactly.
letter L. Then you can start to earn. Then you can start to
Right,
earn.
right, right.
So that's the thing which came into my mind. And everyone,
In fact,
yeah.
as you said very rightly, for me, the experience is money is always a byproduct of your knowledge. And if you go to that stage, then that thing is sustainable. You can keep earning for life without worrying for it. As of today, as a part of my routine, I read for 1 to 2 hours every day. But if you see in real life, for most people, the education ends after college. So it's very important to learn, keep learning, keep learning.
Yeah. So learning should never stop, and we have to continue learning so that we can do whatever we want,
Yeah,
or the
yeah.
goals that we want to achieve. And again, coming into the stock market area as well, recently we have seen a crash from Adani. So, what could be the reasons behind why Adani, like because of Adani, other companies also were facing losses?
No, first thing is I beg to differ on this point of view. The recent crash is not because of Adani. It is not related to Adani at all. The recent correction that we are seeing in the stock market has begun much, much earlier. To be precise, it has begun in the month of October 2021. So myself, I am a technical analyst, so I can tell you, in the month of October 21, in my mutual fund business, I was having a total of 92 crores of AUM, that is the asset under management. The sum total of all my clients' investment put together was 92 crores. Market was at the top, and I chose to do a profit booking. I removed a profit amounting to 24 crores from that investment of 92 crores. So that was almost 30% of the chunk I took out of the market. I finished my profit booking on 20th of October, and the market top was 19th of October. Ever since the correction has begun, and this correction is of purely technical nature. In between somewhere, something happened. Like Mr. Putin, he chose to attack Ukraine. That was an event, but the market did not fall. Putin did whatever he did in the month of February. The market had already started going down in the month of October. So what is the connection? There is no connection. We tend to connect because since we don't understand why the market is coming down, we try to find some negative event which the media is bombarding at us and try to link it with the market. So there is nothing of that sort. Then came the recession story. The US is going to have a recession and this and that and all that bullshit, I will say literally. It has nothing to do with the Indian economy. Indian economy is well insulated. We are on a roll. So this is purely a technical correction. And sometime at the end, around 2 months back, this Adani episode happened. Again, it's an individual company. If an individual company goes to dogs, that doesn't affect the stock market. But unfortunately, the media will throw out the stories and misguide all of us. So if you focus purely, if you have the knowledge, you will see that all these stories have no effect on the market literally. The market has been coming. In fact, I would say now we are almost at the rock bottom of the stock market. Anytime I would be giving calls to my investors to start investing with new vigor. And all that 24 crores that I took out of the market in October 21, I have been investing at lower and levels till today. I have still some few crores left and I will be doing it continuously. The same thing happened during the COVID. My question was, had we seen the event like COVID anytime in our life? At least in my life, there was no such pandemic. Right. So if there is a pandemic, how do you know that you have to sell in the market? But people sold just because there is panic. So all this is technical. If you know how to read the charts, you can see all this coming much, much before the events happen. And much just like I told, now I am going to start investing anytime now between today and next 15 days. If I start getting the right signal, I would say we are at the rock bottom of the market. But yes, the confirmation is yet to come. So just don't hurry with all the money and go and invest. We'll wait. Be patient. The market is not going to close down tomorrow morning.
Yeah, sir. Just because you told the market is going down and all the listeners are like, okay, let's invest in the stock market. And then later they'll find ki, okay, it's not what Samir sir told. So that issue will start to come then. That's why.
So my Harshal, since you have a lot of audience, I will just give one more information since we are already talking about stock market. My humble request to all the listeners is don't invest in the stock market based on anybody's recommendation. Not on my recommendation, not on any stalwart who comes on any of the TV or any pink papers. Don't ever do that. Because I come tomorrow morning, I say buy this stock, and it is, if it doesn't work out, you will lose money, and I am not going to be accountable for that. The best way is to learn yourself. So, I have a lot of investors who come to me who keep losing money, keep losing money. Do you know the statistics? In Indian stock market, just about 2% of the people make money consistently. That beats inflation. That is how poor we are as investors. So the problem is knowledge. So I would recommend go and do some courses, learn first. Now, I have myself designed a course of technical analysis or any other course I will recommend. But first learn, be self-sufficient. Now, after you have become self-sufficient, some fellow comes on the TV and he tells you buy for certain stocks. You have the knowledge to verify whether whatever he is talking is right or not. Then you will be accountable and you will not be taken for a ride by any Tom, Dick and Harry who keeps coming and shouting on the top of his voice that this is going up, this is going down. That way, it doesn't work. So better is become self-sufficient, take the knowledge and make the money. Then nobody is going to stop you. But if you rely on somebody, even if he is expert, tomorrow if he is gone, what you will do? So better become an expert yourself. And it's a lifelong learning process. You can never master it, but at least you can grow better and better and better and better every next day.
Yes, sir, that's really well said, because people tend to focus on one person, maybe who is at the top of the stock market, and they try to mimic whatever he's going to do. And at the end, we do not know what we are doing exactly with our money. And precious thing is we are
Exactly.
investing our time getting that money, and we're simply investing in stock market, or it's just like throwing our money into a dustbin or a garbage bin. So instead of that, we have to be aware where we are investing and how, and we have to plan key what are the things that we want to do with our money. So anyway, sir, we have.
I will give you, sorry. I will give you one more example, real life, that happened with my life way back in when the
Okay.
market fell in 2007-8. There was a big crash. You remember
Yeah.
the subprime crisis, and the market came tumbling down by 62%. I started investing in the market heavily. I took loans. I will not recommend anybody to do that. But I took loans way back in 2008 to invest in the market. There was a time when I was investing more than my monthly income in the market. Since the month of August or September 2008, I started investing. And I remember the exact date, 12th October 2010, I sold off all my investments. Now, 5th November 2010 was Lakshmi Pujan. It was Diwali time. And on CNBC TV 18, this Murat trading happens. There's a big show. All the experts are called and they talk about the Indian economy. And all the experts that were present on that day, on that show, I was watching the show, were telling that the Indian market has run up quite a bit, but only the FIs have earned the money. Not many Indians have earned. So please, Indians, jago, 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 put all your money. This is the right time. The economy is going there. And I'm sitting there thinking that all these supposedly experts of all India level are telling to buy. And I'm a person who has sold everything few days back, just 15 days back on 12th of October. So I'm now wondering who is right, whether whatever they are telling is right or whatever I have done is a mistake. I'm in that domain, but I have data to support the decision I have made. They are not giving any data. They are just they are putting some steam in the air. And you can go back and check for yourself. From 5th of November, the market fell and it corrected by 45%. Now, if one of that guru was my idol in life, I would have lost all that money because I just believed in some person. So I'm not saying that whatever they were telling is good or bad. I'm only saying you become the guru, you become self-sufficient so that nobody will take you for a ride.
Yes, sir, that's very important when it comes to managing our money. And yes, sir, we had a really great, amazing podcast session where we discovered all the points from how we can save our money, how we can reduce our expenses, and also how we can invest wisely. And also we discussed on the critical topic of stock market as well, where many people are very excited to invest once they start earning. So yes, sir, thank you for your time, for the valuable information that you have shared from your 23 years of experience in finances. So thank you for your time, sir.
And thank you very much, Harshal. I'm really, really privileged to be on your show. And I hope that whatever I have said here adds some value to you as well as your viewers. And if that happens, I think I've done my job.